Hey, what's up? This is Chosen, and in this video, we are going to talk about a mechanic on legendary gems that I really don't like, and you'll have to let me know if this is a hot take or whatnot, or if you disagree and all that. But I'm going to let you know something that's been on my mind about the game design around some of these gems, why I don't like it, and why it's something you need to really consider when you think certain legendary gems are really good, and what I would do to change it and all of that. So let's get into it. Alrighty, so right out the gate, you'll see a gem like Bottled Hope, and you will see that using a skill to grant a buff increases the target's damage done and movement speed by 8% for 6 seconds. Seems amazing. You're like, wow, movement speed and damage every time I grant a buff? Yeah, thank you, like sign me up. Then you get the bad news of cannot occur more than once every 20 seconds. Which is an eternity in this game. Like if you're in a PvP engagement or something, or you're running dungeons, like that massive cooldown window is going to make you be proccing a bunch of abilities that may give you value, but they're just thrown into the ether because of this internal cooldown. And what this ends up meaning in game is, you know, I'll see demon hunters talking all the time about how amazing Bottled Hope is because, hey, when I cast Vengeance, now I get movement speed and damage every single time. And it's like, well, no, you don't, because boom, I pop Vengeance. So right now I would get a proc of Bottled Hope, which would be amazing. I'm sitting here, I'm getting extra damage and extra movement speed. But what happens is now when my Vengeance comes off of cooldown, I pop my Vengeance again right now, and that was too fast, and so now I'm getting no Bottled Hope. So what ends up happening is I'm only getting the effect of the Bottled Hope, the super awesome effect of the movement speed and the damage. I'm only getting that literally half the time, unless I want to sit here and like you know, debuff myself and make sure I pay attention to wait until a certain amount of time until Vengeance. Like I gotta leave Vengeance on cooldown for 6 seconds to wait and then get the Bottled Hope. So now I have to wonder, is it better to use Vengeance on cooldown and only get Bottled Hope half the time, or is it better to wait on my Vengeance to use it again until it's gonna also proc Bottled Hope? Then I get Vengeance plus Bottled Hope every time, but I get the buff up less often. It just really kind of ruins the fun and the flow of putting builds together, in my opinion. And it ends up being a big reason why Blood-Soaked Jade is like my favorite gem in the game, and I think it's going to be the most resistant to being power crept out of relevance, which is why I think it has insane value on the marketplace, because you'll see Blood-Soaked Jade is just going to increase all damage you deal by up to 8% while at full life, with a minimum bonus of 4% while at low life, increase movement speed by 10%. And we also get Magic Find and take 2% decreased damage while below 50% life at rank 3, and then no internal cooldown. So this is just, like, this is what a legendary gem should be. It's just a cool effect that makes a lot of sense in a certain build. In Blood-Soaked Jade's case, many different builds, and there's none of these annoying mechanics that make you have to sit here and do mental gymnastics around trying to get perfect value out of and worry about you know, trying to play inefficiently just to avoid these internal cooldown effects. So Blood-Soaked Jade is an example of a gem that was designed properly, and this is how I would have done all of them, but with different effects. And then, you know, if the argument is, well, if you do that, something like Bottled Hope is just going to be way too broken. You know, if you're getting the movement speed and the damage for every single buff and there's no cooldown, you're just going to be popping off like crazy. You could have a different mechanic in there, like maximum of 1 buff at a time. Like, so it's capped. So if you have 4 buffs, you're only getting the 8% bonus. You're not getting 32%. So then the build and the party and the group and the way that you're playing would now be structured around just making sure that you have a permanent beneficial effect. That way you're constantly getting that 8%. Or you could nerf it to 5% or something, 4 or 5%, and then not cap it. No cooldown, none of that nonsense. You could design it in a lot more fun way by simply adjusting the silly internal cooldown mechanic. And this even occurs on some of the more popular one-star gems that people are using as well, with Everlasting Torment. You've got the critical hits inflict agony, and then each enemy cannot be affected by this more than once every 20 seconds. It's also on the expensive version of that, which is going to be the Seeping Bile down here. It's kind of the same concept, can only cannot affect the same target more than once every 20 seconds, which is it's a little bit different. It's a little bit less annoying on something like a Seeping Bile, because you're not really like playing around a cooldown like you are with Bottled Hope and Vengeance. And it's also a lot of the reason why, talking about one-star gems like Everlasting Torment, why I love Carson's Invigoration, especially as a Demon Hunter, where a lot of your value comes from increasing, the output of your primary attack. Carson's does not have any sort of ability or annoying mechanic like that with an internal cooldown. You're just getting increased speed of your primary attack by 5%, and you see there is nothing there. It's just kind of a consistent effect that you can plan around always being there. So yeah, just something that's kind of been on my mind for a while. You guys can let me know if I'm on my soapbox, or if I'm being too much of a hot take artist in this one. It's just it's a missed opportunity, I think, to have gems be a lot more fun to build around and be a lot more cool. And hopefully in the future we're getting more gems like Blood-Soaked Jade, where they're just cool and there is no annoying mechanic to play around, because it's just everywhere. I mean, Howler's Call every 20 seconds. We'll just go through so that you're up to date on these. The 2-star gems, they aren't as bad about it. The most popular one is probably Power and Command, which I like. It's just kind of a cycle that you can play around. I think Power and Command is a cool design for a 2-star gem that makes a lot of sense. 2-star gems need a rework in general. That's a different video. You end up where it makes the most sense to use like either 1 stars or 5 stars, and the 2-star gems and how they fall into the game is a little bit interesting. Mostly it's like Power and Command. Bloody Reach is kind of cool, especially for like a Demon Hunter or something. But a lot of these would need a little bit of a rework, and just 2-star gems in general. But they do still have a lot of these internal cooldowns, like the Hunger here cannot occur more than once every 20 seconds. Phoenix Ashes, it does have a cooldown, but I get that one because it's a cheat death. That's a little bit different. I wouldn't be annoyed by that one at all. The Chip of the Stone Flesh cannot occur. The per target ones are a little bit different. So I'm mostly okay with that one compared to like the Bottled Hope, where it's like on yourself and you have to really change your build. Like basically all of these, Blessing of the Worthy, I'd rather just see nerfed and not have that mechanic on there. But for Echoing Shade, I think it did it a little bit better because you can now have up to 2 shadow clones at one time. So it's just kind of something that you can have proc the effect, and it's either there or it's not, which I think is a better way to do it. Zwenson's has it be only cannot occur more than once every 6 seconds. So yeah, a lot of these do it in a different way, and in my opinion, it's just a mechanic that I would like to see changed. But I definitely want your opinion down below if you think I'm right or wrong, or if you enjoy that mechanic and you think it makes it better and take more skill or something to build around playing around all these different internal cooldowns. Personally, I prefer to just nerf them and let people kind of play around the abilities instead of having to make them strong, but then only be able to use them half as often. So anyway, that is kind of what I want to talk about here today around these legendary gems, so that hopefully in the future we'll see some that match that more Blood-Soaked Jade, thought process for game design. But yeah, as always, thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe on the way out. We've got lots of daily Immortal content coming your way. That'll do it for me on this one. Have a good one. Peace.